So we're here, Edward. We had some technical difficulties, but we're finally here. I kind of wish that we recorded what we had just talked about with the streaming internationally, because that would have been kind of a few cool pieces of information for the audience. But we're here, we made it, and I want to jump right into things just as we did for the last 11 minutes that we unfortunately missed, but we can just make that up right here. Give the audience of the Relentless Life a little bit of a background of who you are and what you represent.
Chance, thank you so much. So in short, my wonderful wife and I, Lassie, are basically influencer coaches, and we run a global network. So we basically help people become master persuaders and influencers.
Very good, very good. What got you into that, Edward?
Well, it's I've been in business for about 10 years now, and I'm from Sydney, Australia, and I used to be a business sort of marketing consultant on a local Sydney level. And what happened was we had some huge, this is pre-COVID, mind you, pre-virus. Sure. We had a lot of disruptions in the local market due to a bad election. Long story, but we had a bad election, and that really impacted my old business. And my wife and I were searching for something new, and we basically went into LinkedIn, and within 3 months of LinkedIn, I achieved more than what I did in like 3 years on Facebook. And it just took me in this new direction of becoming a global influencer coach.
Wow. That's pretty phenomenal. I feel as though that you are a great example of somebody that didn't maybe have the success that you should have had, and then jumped into that LinkedIn network and poof, like that, 3 months. And discuss a little bit about that with LinkedIn.
I love the way you framed it. You said it better than the way that I did, because I actually felt that way. I was working so hard on Facebook. I was spending $100 a day on Facebook advertising. I was working so hard, and I was just so unhappy, and my energy to output wasn't working out. And within, it was basically I was climbing the right ladder against the wrong wall. And the moment I moved it onto the right wall, being LinkedIn, it was like, thank God, finally I'm being rewarded for my efforts. Hence why I've just become such a LinkedIn advocate. It's transformed our lives. It's transformed hundreds of our clients. And, in a way, I want to share not only the gospel of Jesus, but the gospel of Microsoft and LinkedIn.
Yeah, I was reading your bio before we started this recording, and I noticed that you're a Christian. I'm a fellow Christian as well, and I think that's something that you and I will probably connect on, whether it's in this conversation we have or in the future. So I can definitely appreciate that a lot.
And on the Christian note, you'll find this funny being a fellow Christian, Chance. And yes. I thought you were a Christian. All good-looking people are Christians, right? So if someone's a Christian, they're usually good-looking, like us. But what I was going to say is, So
I like that.
So if someone's a Christian, they're good-looking, and if someone's good-looking but not a Christian, they'll end up becoming a Christian. Anyway,
something like that.
But what I found is I've got clients who are, Buddhists, Muslims, and I got clients who are atheists, and even atheists actually prefer working with Christians over fellow atheists, and I've heard many atheists say that.
Why do you think that is?
I asked one the other day, and do you want to hear the answer?
Yeah.
Because they said, this is exactly how they said, look, Ed, I think you believing in God is silly, but I know your belief in God gives you a certain level of ethics, which I tragically don't find in my fellow atheist community. That's exactly what they told me.
Wow. Coming from an atheist.
Yeah. And this guy, I love this guy, by the way. Like, atheists don't care, but this guy is so intellectually honest. He just called out his own camp. And I'm like, whoa. And to me, anyone who can call out their own camp is someone that always gets my respect.
Absolutely. No matter what it is you believe in, if you're open-minded and you're willing to be, like you said, honest with yourself, having the ability to accept criticism, and that's where it's at.
And also call out bad behavior. Even if your own camp, if there's bad behavior, I'd much rather call out bad behavior in my own camp than someone else call it out. It's good that you pick it up first.
Absolutely. So what time is it over there in Sydney?
Right now, it is Saturday morning, 10th of April, 7:57 a.m. And I'm at a beautiful Novotel. See behind.
Yeah, that is. No, that's really nice. Really cool. So before we decided to get on here and record an episode, I was under the impression that you were ahead of us, or you were behind Eastern time. I don't know why. So in my schedule, I had you noted down for my time tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Saturday night. So I thought that was.
Time zones are a nightmare, and Lassie and I, even though we run an international business, even we make mistakes. And especially when you, like, for example, I'm doing a Zoom tomorrow where we've got 4 different speakers from 4 different time zones.
Wow. That's.
And everyone's pissed off at each other. Everyone's annoyed.
Somebody's getting up, somebody's going to sleep.
Yeah. So I'm up at 7 a.m. Someone's up at 10 p.m. Everyone's getting screwed slightly. It's just the way it goes.
It's just how it is when you're an international coach like yourself.
Yeah, totally.
But let's get into the content of this, Edward, and obviously you're a marketing, quote unquote, expert, leadership, marketing consultant, and that's what you do. This is your field. This is who you are. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about marketing and just. I know we discussed this a little bit in the previous interview that we didn't record, but just talk about the art of marketing. I know it's a very broad topic. Talk about that art.
Exactly. So as I was saying before, is marketing is a very broad concept, and the metaphor I use to describe marketing is like science. So if you say to someone, I'm in science, well, are you in physics? Are you in biology? Are you in biochemistry? Are you in chemistry? Are you in astrophysics? Like, the word science is like the word marketing. It can mean 100 different things to 100 different people. It's just a very broad concept. And what I invite people to think about, I know this is not a very good answer, but I'm telling the truth, is that marketing means different things to different people at different points in time. So marketing, the way I see it, is basically how you behave to make money and how you behave to get customers and maximize your profits. So if you're a B2B person like me, who's an influencer, a lot of my marketing revolves around webinars and running, putting out content, for example, right? As a simple example. Let's say you're one of my friends who's an Instagram girl, like Instagram influencer. She's all about getting paid sponsorship and modeling gigs. So for her, marketing is actually literally putting out sexy photos in bikinis and lingerie because that gets her business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you're obviously a handsome Christian fitness guy, and the same thing in fitness. You put out all the handsome photos of you working out, gets you customers. So it means different things to different people at different points in time.
Absolutely. But going off of what you said, I granted with a girl, a pretty younger woman who is putting out bikini pictures, they really don't need a whole lot of meaning behind that picture. They're going to attract millions of likes and followers. But I feel like when you put something out onto the internet or wherever it is on a billboard, it needs to have some sort of meaning associated with that package.
So, and if I can defend, and this is a LinkedIn guy defending the Instagram girls for a moment, so think about the irony of that, right?
Sure.
Because I've actually got quite a few female friends who are Instagram influencers, and on this, and whilst they might put out some, shall we say, saucy photos,
Sure.
They're doing it actually in quite a strategic way. They're doing it in such a way, they're using certain hashtags, they're putting out certain content to try and land the modeling gigs or acting spots. So one of my friends, Asian Australian lady, and she's an actress, and she puts out sexy yet professional imagery because it helps helping her break into the acting industry, which it is. So even though it might be sexy, the smart ones actually have a lot of strategy behind that sexiness. So they're throwing their sexiness in a certain direction to get back the opportunities they want.
It's not just a bikini picture looking for likes. There's a little bit more to it. There's a reason. There's a reason attached to it.
Exactly. Like a dumb influencer just wants likes, comments, and shares. A smart influencer is really thinking it through and creating content that's designed to land in front of their target and get the reaction that they're after. So in my case, my friend Sunny, for example, she's the young, attractive Asian lady in Sydney. She's doing her content in such a way to get her the acting gigs.
Right. No, that's very good. What are a few things that somebody could do to attract a little bit more traffic to their brand or to their message of what they're trying to do?
Yeah. I love your question, Chance. It's exactly I love the last part of what you said. The first thing is, what are you trying to do? That's the first question is, what are you trying to do? And once you answer that question clearly, it actually makes life pretty easy because I was actually speaking to one of our wonderful friends before who's a famous actress and voiceover artist. And I was just literally talking to her before. And for her, she wants to get more corporate speaking gigs. So for her, she needs to reach out to event organizers and event planners across America.
Right.
So as you said, what are you trying to do? And once you answer that question, it's actually not too hard, the next step. Most people don't answer what they're trying to do clearly, so then they do all this weird stuff.
Yeah. They kind of skip the primary block there, the foundation, if you will.
Yeah. So if you're clear on what you're trying to do, then you can, and I can tell you, you fitness, I love you fitness guys. You're very logical people like myself, right? Yeah. Hey, I want to cut fat and increase muscle count. Okay. Then you have to do this. You got to think.
Right. It's my OCD is off the chain. I'm very, it's got to be this way. And then to get to the next step, that next phase, you have to accomplish phase 1. And to get to phase 2, you got so on and so forth, like you described with that.
And I think you made that. I think you made that point beautifully before when you said likes and shares. Like if you're just chasing likes, shares, and comments, and you've got you're not actually thinking what you're trying to do, you're going to get nowhere. So you need to know what you're trying to do, and then attract the right likes, shares, and comments from the right people.
How would you go about doing that in? I guess every setting is different: Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. But like, I'm sure there's some similar techniques that you can kind of bundle up and say, here is this marketing package. What are some things that you can do to, I guess I'm kind of repeating my question with the bringing in more traffic, but like hashtagging and commenting on other people's photos or posts, that sort of thing.
Now, quick caveat, I'm more of a LinkedIn guy. So, outside of LinkedIn, please take this with a slight grain of salt, but I'll do the best that I can. I try and stick to what I'm good at.
Accommodate.
So just being caveat there. But look, lots of color, lots of movement, lots of photos, really relevant hashtags, supporting your friends, tagging in the right people is a great place to get started. That works on all platforms, in particular LinkedIn.
It does, absolutely. I find that's something that even I struggle with. Now I don't have a big following. I also don't have a small following. I'm kind of somewhere in the middle, and actively trying to grow it every day. I do my best to make more connections in LinkedIn every day. I make it like a regimen, comment on people's posts, and like you said, relevant hashtags. So for somebody like me, where I feel as though now this could just be me being hard on myself, I feel as though I'm not growing at the rate at which I'd like to grow. What could be like that next step? What could be a few missing pieces that maybe I'm not doing?
Yeah, just shooting off the hip here, and this is talking generally, doing videos is very good, like really good videos on LinkedIn, for example, is really good. And you might even consider running your own weekly Zoom meeting. I suggest this to a lot of people. Start running your own free weekly Zoom that you talk about what you're doing, like be it fitness, health, marketing, whatever you're doing, and invite everyone to it. So you might do videos every day. You might run your own events every week and invite people to it. So, for example, I run a lot of free networking Zooms and webinars because it's part of the sales funnel. It gives people a great try before you buy. And if they like me, they'll sign up. If they don't, they'll move on.
Yeah. What would you say, like the overall like obviously the age we live in is so vast compared to where we were at 10, 15, 20 years ago. What would you say the overall power aspect of digital marketing is today?
Yeah, well, I'm not the only one saying this. Even Bill Gates and Elon Musk has said this. And we're in the influencer age. We're in the age of people wanting to trust people. So, it's and hence why you have a lot of people like me. I'm a relatively new influencer. I only took off about a year or two ago. So you have a lot of people like me rising to power where we weren't around 5 years ago.
Right. I think it's a very cool dynamic now that, like you had said just a few years ago, you were not who you are today, and the power of LinkedIn, this LinkedIn community and the connections you're making allowed you to elevate yourself to such a level to where now you're a master coach. You can put that in your bio because you have 84,000 followers and you have clients internationally.
Yeah. And it's also having the platform. So for example, LinkedIn today is not what it was 5 years ago. Since Microsoft has bought LinkedIn, they've turned it into a powerhouse platform. So you have the technology out, because before that, there was nothing for us. There was just Facebook. And, at the end of the day, I didn't really fit into Facebook. I never did. I never belonged there, but there was nowhere else to go. But now there's somewhere for me. And a lot of people, for example, in bashing Facebook for the moment, which I could do all day, right? For a while, we're all just stuck in a Facebook doing what we can, but now we've got better places to go. We've got LinkedIn, which is way for our application. LinkedIn's 100 million times better than Facebook.
It is. Absolutely. For what you and I both do, and for everybody that is out there that is looking to expand their brand, it doesn't matter what industry that you're in. I'm in the roofing, my family is in the roofing industry, and then I'm in the self-help, motivational, fitness, if you will, industry. All of that can fit into some sort of segment in LinkedIn, which I think is really cool. So moving on though to my next question, how would you create a master marketer? How would somebody go about if, say, they wanted to become this expert in marketing? Where would they start?
Yeah, I think there's two answers to that. One is your education. So you might pursue some type of education. You might formally do a degree. You might formally do a diploma, or you might informally just do a bunch of short courses based on the exact skills that you're after. You might do a bit of both. And then there's the actual art of doing it. So part of it's the learning, and part of it is doing it every day. And together, that'll make you very powerful.
Absolutely. I like that a lot. So you're an international coach. You work with clients abroad. Talk a little bit about that experience of how, you had mentioned earlier that during some Zoom calls, somebody's up at 7 a.m., someone's on the call at 10 p.m. Talk about that experience in being an international marketing coach.
It's actually quite funny because what happens is that when I wake up, my inbox is full of messages. And about 9 a.m. is when all the Australians get into everything. About 6 p.m. my time is when all the UK people wake up and all their content and messages come out. And about 9, 10 p.m. is when all the US market wakes up. And the Middle East is about 2 p.m. our time. So at different times throughout the day, different markets wake up, and then they all see their content, they all message me and that sort of thing. So I can sort of tell what I know when it's Sydney time, Dubai time, UK time, and US time, West Coast or East.
You're totally used to that, like offset by a few hours. You really know the.
So when 3 p.m.'s Dubai, 9 a.m. Sydney, 6, 7's UK.
Yeah.
9 to 11's US, based on East, West Coast, or Central Time, or whatever they're on. Right.
No, that's cool. So when I said that I got that time frame confused, you were probably like, how does he not know that? But I've never dealt with, experiencing that before. I'm just getting my feet wet into, this market and really into real life. I'm 20. I'll be 25 this year. So,
Please don't beat yourself up on time zones. I made a big mistake on time zones a month ago, and I should know better. So do not beat yourself up. Time zones are the most hardest thing in the universe to comprehend.
It's really, when you really think about it, like it's trippy to think that we're all here living in the same moment, but it's different. The sun's hitting us at a different time. Everything's different as you go in that circle.
You know what really annoys me? Daylight saving destroy time zones I can handle. It's a daylight saving that causes me some kind of, brain fog.
Right. So this might be a stupid question, but does Australia practice daylight savings? It does.
Everywhere does.
Everywhere. It's okay.
Everywhere, but everyone does it at different times for different reasons. So there's no pattern to it.
It's just, I say we do away with it. It really, I don't understand it.
Oh, the environmental Greta Thunberg and the environmentalists are going to come and kill you for saying that.
Oh boy.
Because the reason daylight saving is to actually conserve power. So the thing is, the reason why they do it is, let's say you wake up and it's dark. You're going to use more power. If they shift you by an hour, you lose less power. So it's actually about efficiency in the environment, daylight saving. As annoying as it is, it's very important, and it is annoying.
That's very interesting. I honestly had never heard of that before. Where could somebody listening, if they wanted to this is like a random fact here, but if they randomly wanted to go and find out more information about that? You said Greta?
Yeah, Greta. Greta Thunberg, right? I'm talking about Greta. Remember that girl? Like, how dare you? I don't. No, what I do is, I don't know, just jump on Google. But daylight savings does my head in as well. So, if you're gonna do it, have some aspirin with you at the time and a cup of coffee.
Absolutely. Oh, moving on into our next phase here. What are some of the coolest experiences you've had with these clients, whether it be nationally or internationally? What are some of the coolest experiences you've had?
Look, I've had a few really, really good ones. I've worked with people all across the world, from the Middle East to America, and I've learned all sorts of topics. And you get quite involved in people's lives. So I've spoken to people about their relationships. I've had clients tell me that they're involved in gay relationships. They don't really want to know about it. So lots of crazy stuff that I hear. And
I bet.
And even though I'm an influencer coach, you end up becoming quite a part of their life, because in a way, you're like the hairdresser. They tell you everything. So you're holding all these secrets that you're going to take to the grave with you.
Right. If you had to name one experience, what would it be? Like one, you don't have to tell the whole story, but like one specific experience of, like, whether it be really weird, really like you really knew who they were, but like in a weird way.
The funniest one was, on a side note, I run a lot of face-to-face meetups across Australia and Sydney. And this is a while ago, but two of my clients came together and said, Ed, don't tell anyone, but we've entered a gay relationship together. So I just thought it was, and I don't care. I don't care. I think love is love. But they were absolutely nervous about it and insecure about it. And I was actually the guy telling them it's okay to be gay. It was hilarious. So there you go.
There you go. That's a good laugh for the audience.
Yeah, so there you go. So Ed, the Christian guy, was telling these two wonderful people it's okay to be gay and calming them down. So it was quite funny.
There you go. I do agree though that love is love. It doesn't. My sister's gay, and it doesn't matter. We're in a different age now, and whether you're Christian or you're whatever, Buddhist, or doesn't matter what you are, who you are. Just live your life.
And just to be clear on that issue, I'm in the complete love is love camp. So I just want to be very clear with everyone in our audience. I'm the love is love camp on that issue.
Yeah, absolutely. As am I.
Yeah.
What are some resources, Edward, that the audience can dive into, some tools or resources in regards to marketing that can help them further the growth and maybe even maturation of their business?
Yeah, so several resources I've got for everyone is, firstly, what I encourage people to do is just jump on YouTube and just type in marketing and influencer work, and you'll find a lot of people talking about it. And if you're interested in what I have, please, if you're watching this video, follow me on LinkedIn. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn and just say, hey, Ed, I saw you on Chance's podcast. But yeah, definitely jump on YouTube. Heaps of cool stuff on there. And yeah, please follow me as well. I run a lot of free live webinars. I've got heaps of free content to kick people off.
That's awesome. And I would like to say we're not gonna take too much longer. Obviously, you have your full day ahead of you. But I would like to say I really think that it's super cool that you, being as busy as you are, you took the time out of your day to have an interview with me. At this point, I'm very small, but I have that ambition to grow and to further my outreach within the world. So I just wanted to say thank you before we kind of get to the end of the podcast. I thought that was a good time to intervene there. And I think that's cool how you're doing that. You're still doing small time interviews. And that's what's going to separate you from other people.
Yeah, and if I can, and thank you, but if I can slightly disagree with you, if I can, okay, you are correct. I'm splitting hairs here, but if I can you are correct, but if I can spiritually disagree with you,
sure,
whilst in terms of numbers, you might be small time, and you are in terms of numbers, in terms of you as a person, you are not small time. You're a somebody.
I appreciate that a lot. I really do. That means a lot. Being that sometimes I get hard on myself and I'm like, am I really reaching people? And then I'll have people reach out to me and it's like, it's that fulfillment, that fuel that I needed to keep me going. And it's like, man, what I'm doing is making a difference. So thank you very much for saying that. That means a lot.
And on that note, and believe me, I know exactly how you feel because I used to feel that way for a long time. So you're definitely speaking to someone who's felt that before. And the way I look at it is, even if you're only being seen by 100 people a day, 100 people is still a lot of people.
Absolutely.
You know, I get seen now, these days I get seen at least 40,000 times a day online, at least per day, right? Wow. It used to be about 10.
Yeah, but everybody starts somewhere. So everybody starts at ground zero.
Yeah. So not everyone is Elon Musk, right? So
Right.
not everyone's Elon Musk, and you need to accept that you're not Elon Musk. And when you accept you're not Elon Musk, it makes life a lot easier.
It does. It makes you feel better. Like, wow, I don't have to be Elon Musk. My difference that I'm making is enough.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, if you're changing the lives of 10 people, that's pretty cool. I'll take that.
It is. One person. As a
take
Christian, spreading the word of God, or spreading, in my case, the mission of living a relentless lifestyle and going after your dreams. If one person can captivate that thought process, I'm happy. I'm good.
Exactly. So my advice to you is, yes, in terms of hard numbers, you are small, but don't think that way is what I'm trying to say.
Amen to that. Amen to that. I will absolutely work on that, and I appreciate the insight for sure. Moving on, I got a couple more questions, if that's okay. The importance of going to events. I was watching a few of your videos on YouTube and just some of your content, and you had mentioned the importance of face-to-face interaction and not just hiding behind a phone screen or a computer. Talk a little bit about that, of going to events and face-to-face.
Exactly. So I actually, so there's sort of probably two worlds that I operate in. So one is the whole international master coach, putting out content on LinkedIn, being seen across the world, blah, blah, blah. And the other side of my universe is actually face-to-face. So for example, I run meetups in 3 of our capital cities, Melbourne, Brisbane, and Sydney. And so I travel quite a bit. I meet people face-to-face. So, and to me, I'm a quite a big LinkedIn influencer with, over 200,000 followers, including my business page, telling you this. Nothing beats face-to-face. Absolutely nothing. Now, I'm not telling you to, I'm pro LinkedIn, I'm pro being an influencer, but the ones that do well is you have a good mixture of face-to-face with your online. And I find the people that do well if people who do the real world and the digital world and bring them together well are the ones who really become top performers.
Yeah, I think it's that overall combination that makes that powerhouse to make a successful company, a successful movement, a successful individual.
Exactly.
Leading into our last couple of questions, Edward, digital design. What is the importance? So, like, for instance, you see here, I'm wearing this is my logo. The poster behind me, that's my logo. What is the importance of having a captivating digital design, a visual, a piece of art that somebody associates with your company and with your message?
Well, I think yours is outstanding, and I think it's very important yours is outstanding because yours is just straight up and obvious. Because Relentless Life, like, obviously CG are your initials, obviously, and Relentless Life, it's just so simple. There's no debate as to what you mean, right?
And there's no confusion.
And I think what happens is some people try and get too creative and they're trying to be too mysterious and you just don't know what it is and you just tune it out. So I think having really direct, hard-hitting messaging like yours is the way to go, especially in this world where there's so much clutter out there.
Yes, I completely agree. That was great. I really enjoyed that. We're going to keep it short, crisp. I think that we got a lot of good information. Like I said, I want to let you go, let you kill your day as you always do. Before I ask my very last question, where can people find you?
Oh yeah, best way is for people to follow me or connect with me on LinkedIn. Best place to start, and also if you just Google Edward Zia. But LinkedIn's a great place. Feel free to follow me.
Absolutely.
Or if you want to connect, just type in a message saying, "Hey Ed, I heard you on Chance's podcast," just so I know who you are.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's really cool too. I've been following you, Edward, for a couple of years now. I think it was maybe 3 years actually. And I will say to you guys listening that Edward puts out some phenomenal content. I've learned a lot from you over the last few years. And it's really cool too how you and I have corresponded in your DMs. You have as many followers as you do, and you still correspond to really everybody, which is totally cool, totally rad. And like I said, if you're listening, Edward Zia is the man to follow. He's got a lot of great advice in the marketing, business, and just overall realm of leadership experience. So,
Chance, I'm honored. Thank you so much.
My very last question before we get off here is, obviously, my brand, my lifestyle, my podcast is known as The Relentless Life. How does somebody remain relentless with their marketing, with their company?
Yeah, I think it's a matter of keeping up the daily activity. Never stop showing up. A lot of clients have said to me over the years, I'm a master at showing up, right? And I'm the first to say 90% plus of success is just showing up. So at the end of the day, if you're showing up and you're showing up day by day, someone's going to be crazy enough to give you money.
Yeah, you got to stay consistent with everything that you do.
Yeah, and you're a fitness guy, and I know you'd appreciate that. And that's why a lot of fitness people do well as influencers, because fitness people appreciate the consistency element. You already know that. If you're bad at consistency, you won't succeed in fitness. So if you've already made it in fitness, you've already got that consistency trait nailed down. So hence, fitness people generally make good influencers because they get the consistency thing inside out.
Absolutely. I love that. That was a great way to end the show. Edward, thank you so very much for your time today. Thank you for all of the awesome content. And yeah, have a great rest of your day.